everything the void has consumed. And just as I devoured this city, I will devour your world.
Today, I would like to introduce you to our very special guest, Hikari, aka Surya Banu, who is better known for her cosplays. Welcome to the podcast, Hikari. So, I happened to do a little bit of stalking and stumbled across your channel, Hikari Plays, and watched your latest video titled Cosplay Making of Poison Ivy. There are so many things to talk about in this video that I'm afraid it might go on for hours. I myself have tried out cosplaying characters like Storm from X-Men, Bajirao Mustani, so I can totally relate and put myself in your shoes on the challenges of cosplay and how what goes behind the scenes. I'll still give myself an iron tier and a total noob when it comes to that department, but we have the challenger of cosplays with us. Before we get to the details of the video, I noticed a childhood picture in your Facebook, which makes me wonder where did all this cosplay journey start? What inspired you to cosplay? And what was your first cosplay character, if you recall?
Hi, this is Hikari. Thanks for having me on the show. So, cosplay has been a hobby for me for over 10 years now. And looking back, it all started with just visiting a Comic Con in Bangalore. I had no clue about there's something called as cosplay that exists where people get to dress up like their favorite characters and you know uh, show up for a day and have fun. And this was a really new concept to me until I visited Comic Con in India. But even before then, I was a huge, anime fan. I was a gamer, and then I love reading comics as well. So from my childhood, I loved all of the superhero concept, and then me visiting Comic Con for the first time, it was really kind of a surreal experience for me. And then there was like so many people who were dressed as my favorite characters. So I decided I also wanted to, take part in the fun, and that's how the entire thing started. And my first cosplay was from an anime called Code Geass. The character name is Lelouch. So I cosplayed first in Hyderabad Comic Con, and that was like a really amazing experience. And till then, from then on, I decided like I want to be cosplaying all my favorite characters.
Let us talk about some of the challenges with respect to cosplay. When I personally started the cosplay, right, it was so difficult to find custom tailors who would design the costume for you, and it was getting very difficult, and that was one of the main challenges that I had to go through. And the last time I checked on online, and the cost of a ruined misfortune costume was around a whooping 50 to 1 lakh. So that kind of blew my mind on how challenging it can be to cosplay. But what I see is that you're doing everything from tailoring, from the video that was shown. It's you do the tailoring of the cosplay, and then you do the design, the artwork, and everything goes into it. So would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, certainly. So, when everyone starts up cosplay as a hobby, of course, a lot of people feel overwhelmed because most of the characters that we like and love to cosplay are full of details, like the costume. Even when you take a simple, maybe a Catwoman costume, to get a similar costume is very hard. And of course, since cosplay has become very mainstream of late, like you could see a lot of stores selling ready-made costumes, and these are all custom pieces, and that's why they usually cost a fortune because it's tailored for specifically that person. But I would suggest, if you're starting off with cosplay, to go with something that is simpler and easier for you, and break down the costume into something. So you will have to identify your strength and weaknesses. Since I've told you, like, I've been doing it for 10 years, so I had to learn a lot of things to make it work. And when I started off, even I had no idea about how to stitch or how to make stuff for the costume. So I used to, like, try to break down the costume into something simple that you can find in your wardrobe, maybe repurpose it, paint over it, or cut it, or do some small minute changes that your local tailor can help you with also. So that's how I started. I guess that's a good starting point for anyone. Like, you don't have to look exactly, that's the beauty of cosplay, right? You don't really have to look exactly like the character. It's just your love for the character that you're expressing.
There aren't dedicated cosplay tailors, right? It's us that needs to think of the design and work up some skills to uh, showcase that.
Yeah, there are people of late who are, catering to, cosplay, selling cosplay or making cosplay for others. But when you look at it as a beginner, it is on the slightly expensive side because, like you said, a lot of things involved in making of a cosplay. So I would ideally, and for me personally, the whole joy of cosplaying is in the process of making the cosplay, because it's in the end something that you did and you're gonna wear it proudly. Like, even if it looks sloppy, even if it is not perfect, you just feel the pride that, oh, I did this, I put the effort into making this. So it's kind of like that for me. So I tend to make it. But of course, there are a lot of things that you can explore these days. Like I said, cosplay has become so mainstream from when it started. So a lot of things are available, but it again depends on what you are willing to do. Are you willing to put in the effort and the time needed to learn the skill, or like do it on your own, or like you would rather save your time and effort for something else and then just, like, help, seek the help of others.
As you know, the main theme is League of Legends. So I know a lot of people may have asked you, but which is like your favorite character to cosplay as? Personally, for me, after watching Arcane, Jinx was an inspiration for me to cosplay. So who's your favorite character?
I mean, League has an endless amount of inspiring characters. Like, I love a lot of characters. But when I did start League, I think it was like end of season 5 or something. I think the next season Kindred was released, and I was so intrigued by the entire theme of Kindred, the champion theme of it being like, death personified, and there's this wolf and there's this lamb, and it was so, like, and I love the entire design. I love the champion. So I decided I wanted to, make a Kindred cosplay. So that was my first ever cosplay from League of Legends. And it did win me the PGX 2018 cosplay competition as well. So it's really special and very close to my heart.
We see that there are so many male players that are interested more in League of Legends than female players. So regardless of gender, I mean, what would you say about that?
When I started, playing League, or I was playing League a couple of years back, there was still a fair amount of female players, and we even had an all female eSports team called Galaxy. And we had a lot of female players in the team, and we were also, having a lot of female people in the community. But I feel that, it's not just about being male or female. I think League community, especially in India, has lost its shine that it had about 5 years ago, I would say. But I am having a lot of hope that with a lot of, tournaments from SMG and a lot of limelight being showered on League of Legends, we get that revival. And hopefully a lot of players who left the game come back and play again and inspire even more players to play. Because I personally introduce, like, two or three juniors of mine to league. So it's about like how the community builds, right? Like if you yourself are not playing league anymore, how will you pull a friend to play it with you? So I guess, yeah, we did have a lot of like stagnant thing happening in Indian league scene especially. But now I think we are reviving, and I hope to see a lot of female players. It's not too far away. I've seen a lot of really amazing players, very tough competitive female players in the scene as well. I hope that they all come back, and we'll have a fun time playing league again.
Cosplay is your full time or hobby? You would say that it's your hobby, right? More of a hobby.
Yes, I would love to do cosplay full time, but as of now, it still remains as a hobby. Uh, on a full time basis, I do work with eSports. I do work as a program manager for eSports. I mean, my love for gaming led me to this path, and I'm happy, enjoying doing what I'm doing. And I hope that, not just League, but the esports scene in India in general gets bigger, and we even, maybe down the line we get to have slots in worlds. Who knows?
So, all right, let me give you a scenario right now. So, a total amateur comes to you and asks for some tips for cosplay. Forget about that. I mean, imagine I come because I am an amateur and I'm really interested to cosplay because Arcane inspired me so much, and I want to cosplay as Jinx in when Arcane 2 gets released. What would you suggest?
Um.
How do
Okay.
I get started?
Okay. So for a completely new person, yeah, Jinx is fairly easy cosplay to make. Like she is um, very spunky. I mean, if you identify with the character, of course, why not do the cosplay, right? So I would suggest, you know, uh, take a look at the character, closely observe their mannerisms, before you even jump into a cosplay. Like, I want to be this character, go around researching everything, every single detail of what the costume is gonna be. Try to break down the costume as simple as possible. Sometimes you might think, oh, they'll be wearing like 3 4 bells for no reason because like it looks cool. A lot of the video gaming characters wear a lot of things for like they look very complex, but when you break it down, it's like okay, they're just wearing a couple of bells. So you just take down different angles of the character and then plot down what are the things that she's wearing and what you can just source, like just get it from the shop, alter it or something, or something that you will have to put effort and make it. So make a list of all of that, and then definitely work out the budget, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. Cosplay can be very expensive if you just like ignore everything and jump right in. So I would suggest highly to make a budget for yourself and stick to the budget as much as possible. I know there can be last minute, ups and downs, but first of all, establish a budget, and then make sure that your cosplay fits into your budget. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to spend a lot and then you're going to worry about it, it's not a viable hobby. So I would suggest that you research and then work on your budget.
So, thank you, Hikari, for your time and knowledge that you shared with us about cosplay. And with this video, I hope many uh, people get inspired by cosplaying and many people will come forward to cosplay.